think I'm a little bit late here. Hello, Alan. Yes, I do believe I'm a smidge late compared to normal. That's okay. Oh boy. Civilly, Bunty. Hey, Bunty's been a while. Macau. And Honor, Una, Olna, Click. Don't know how to pronounce any of that. Siddle and Teresa. What have we got here? 2237. I think that should be a 2337. Ports are clean, working fine. However, when it's on charge, keeps connecting, disconnecting. So intermittent charge, port behavior. Okay. See what we can do about that. Right. Yes. 2337. Pack seems okay. Hey, Catherine. Benny. Right. Intermittent behavior, eh? Let's see if it happens at all while it's on the lead. David H. Yeah, it's a little bit scrappy. You can see it's a little bit scrappy there on that. It's not booting at all. They should boot on their own. It keeps resetting. What about that port? Okay, so it's trying to hit 20 volts and then it shuts down. Tries to get to 20 volts, shuts down. So now the interesting thing is it's on the port behaviors are a little bit different there. So it might be that there's a fault on one particular port. I'm just going to put this on to see if it shows up as a difference before I take it out and have a look. So we've got 6166. Okay, so that's balanced. No problems there. What about this one? And likewise, that's also balanced. Okay, so it doesn't look like, at least there's no exterior failure on the pins. Doesn't mean it won't be on the inside. Ejeho, Osis, Jean-Marc from the UK. Any impending cyclonic action? Oh god, no. No. Cyclone's way away from us. It's like a solid 1,000 kilometers away from us now. About the only thing that we're going to have as a result of the cyclone is probably delayed parcels and delayed food deliveries and things like that, because a lot of stuff obviously goes through the Brisbane kind of area, which of course is now being subjected to the presence of the cyclone. But beyond that, no, we're not gonna see anything of that unless it does come inland form itself into a low and then start coming back up. And that actually can happen. Every now and then you get a low or a cyclone that turns into a low that just decides to keep going up and down the coast and torturing everybody. I think Cyclone Charlie was the last one I remember that did that. The ice cream, yep, that's going to melt. Hello, what's going on here? Is it my imagination, or is there normally a shield there? It's probably my imagination. No marks. Hey Kristen, David, how much for the PhD? Yeah, I'll redirect you to my boss. Okay. First thing I'll look at is the CD3217 area. Alexandra from Brazil. Okay, we've got a little piece of grass there, not going to be a problem. Hey Ryan Labs, welcome. You can see why I don't have a problem with the fact that they use MLCC caps on these boards, and why I'm not worried about not having any more jobs to repair. I mean, just look at all those caps, and you only need one to go pop, and if one goes pop, then you got a job. So yeah, I'm really not on board with all the other doomsdayers who say, oh, we're never going to fix these things now. I mean, we've been saying that for the last, I don't know, 30 years. Surface mount first came out. Oh, I'm not going to be able to fix that. Can't fix that. It's the end of repair. So, yeah. We change some of the possibilities of repair, but we can still repair. Just not all the same things. It's not the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's just slightly muted. It's slightly changed. But it's not the end. Just see if it does behave differently with my own connector. fine with mine. They must have a shonky connector. Nothing wrong with the board. I mean, there might be, but it seems like there might not be. They said they changed this. This is why, yeah, this is why you don't believe things. Look at that. There, that's why it's not working. Bloody hell. Ports are clean and working. No, they're not. Ah, good thing I've got spares. Better check that that one's clean too. It'd be embarrassing for... Yeah, okay, they're good, they're good. Sure glad we didn't go chasing faults with the infrared camera or anything like that. Okay, that one's mine, yep. See, I would say what they did is they did take the port out, they gave it a bit of a scrub. It might have been dirty before or something like that, so they gave it a bit of a scrub, had a look at it without a microscope. I don't think they've got one. And then they would have been like, yeah, looks good, stuck it back in, but really the damage that typically will cause issues like this is because the damage has gone into the assembly. So even if you scrub it all off, all the apparent yuckiness off the port, the actual faulty part is still happening inside. Oh, I'm happy for that. Okay, let's plug the battery in and see if we actually get a proper behavior here. How many customers don't want to pay for repairs? A little too many, actually. There we go, we're all good. Charging properly too. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, well, I got something else to be upset about though with this. I got to tell you now that I've just seen it, and I'm glad I've seen this before I sent it anywhere. But let's see if I can get this right. I don't know if you can see that. See that stripe there? That's damage, and I can see the strike against the edge here. So at some point in the past that's been damaged. The panel itself is faulty. It's nothing to do with me, but this is a very good example of where things can get a little bit crazy, because I say, okay, you know, we found your fault. They're going to send it back, and then the customer, I can almost guarantee, maybe not, that they will say, hey, that wasn't there before. Why is my screen damaged now? And then the place that sent it to me, if they want to be difficult, they can go, why is the screen damaged? The customer says it wasn't damaged until it got sent. And I'm like, don't look at me, you know. I've got this on video and we only just opened it up, and this is old damage, you can tell by the look of it. Of course, sometimes it is a case of the customer will go, "Yeah, I know about that. I don't care. It's how it was." But these are the dangerous things that can come up with repairs, and this is why I record everything from the moment that I basically get the machine and put it on my desk and open it up, because yeah, this sort of stuff can end up costing you a lot of money, even though it's got absolutely nothing to do with you. Hey, Brads, thank you for the 2222. That's interesting. Releasing public repair information is a perilous endeavor. What are the most effective ways to tell people to go? Yeah, that's really tricky. That's really tricky. All I can say is that if you have everything recorded, you might have a chance of getting out of it unscathed. How do I manage to keep my hands so steady at my age? They're not always that steady. The screen coating peeling on this one? No, it's just muck. It's human oils and things like that. That's what it is. It does give a similar appearance, though, to the delaminating screens of like the 1502 series, 1398s, etc. Unboxing recordings have saved my... Yeah, I will admit, I do probably need to also cover unboxing. But because that's done in another room, there's a whole another assembly of recording, so I probably should look at doing all the unboxing here on this workshop bench, but it's not the easiest thing to do on this workbook, this bench, not always. But yeah, that's sort of like one weak area that I do need to cover up. Brad, sounds like you need to sort of have a big, what do you call it, I don't know what the word is, an overhaul, big redoing of everything, start anew. I don't know. I don't like giving people advice because there's too many subtle aspects to your situation of which advice may not be suitable. Yeah, the number of times you ask for something and then people start throwing advice at you, and in your head you know, oh no, that doesn't apply to me because of this or that. But it's difficult because you then have to explain all this and that. But there's so many elements to your situation that you can't directly or you can't immediately convey to someone when you ask them for assistance. And so you spend the first 90% of the time listening to what people are offering you, having to reject everything because it's like, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply, that doesn't apply. Purge, they'll work. You're going to go for the... no. I felt a screw, I think. I'm almost certain I felt a screw hit my pants. I'll find out when I get to the end. It could have just been in my imagination. Let's hope it was. Please, bro, yes, and smooth brains. I just realised there's no way there could be a cage on this because we've got a screw hole there. And you're not going to have a screw in a position where a cage would be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Apple would love to do that. So put the screw in the board and then put the cage over the top. That'd be just fun. Okay, so this is really fixed, I guess. No screws for this one either. Okay. I'll just verify it does, in fact, Still boot. Apple logo. Yep, all good. Could do it with a bit of a charge. I'm just going to stick it over here. Alright, I guess we'll move to the next one. That was quick. Hey, Admin Media. Yes, it has been quite some time. My fault more than anything else. I tried some experimenting, it didn't work out. That's the way it goes. Alright, so this is the only part that we replaced. Stick it into our little drug bag. Machine is good to go. Give me it back. Thank you. So if we get called up and say, hey, where's that part? Prove that it was actually faulty. Okay, there you go. Now, the reason why I don't send them the part is because if they've got the part, then they can accidentally dispose of the evidence that shows that I actually fixed it. I mean, I've got the videos and everything else like that, but I like to hold on to those broken pieces. Alright, what have we got for this one? Power draw set between 10 and 250 milliamps. This is a 2251. We've got a clean bench still? Yes. Hey Joey, what, you got a spanner? How'd you get that? What are you even doing here, Joey? You're supposed to be preparing for your stream. You've got to come up with all your entertaining events and lines and stories and items. You should not be here. Okay. $2251. This will be a 1598 board, I think. Oh no, what are you? You are a 4 something. 1949. Don't very often get these ones. It's sort of like the successor to the A1989, which had the 820-00850 board in it. Let's plug it in and see what it does. Draco, Joey wants to be here. You don't get to do what you want to do. Yeah, it's, you got to be a mature, responsible adult. That's proper charging current going on there. Sort of. It's starting. What the hell? Seriously? Hey, Craig, Jedi. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just trying to see what's happening with the charge here. It looks like the charge is, it's doing weird stuff though. It's kind of like going up and, yeah, half and half. It could be because it's nearly 100% full or something like that. Nope, it's at 0. Okay, we'll let it charge up a little bit. Oh, admin, that's a little naughty. Oh, at least you're listening rather than watching. Though you're still able to make comments. Interesting. Hey, Shane Stuff. Wait, Shane Stuff. Wait. You just sent me an email tonight, didn't you? Yes, about the USB things. The big problem is I don't make them anymore. But I need to sort something out. Come on. Let's get charging. I only just stopped production of them. I do have a couple of little bits. I have bits for them still. I'm not putting out kits though, God no. Kits take more time than just building. Okay, we're stepping. Okay, so we are charging properly here. So you can see the staircase building up in the USB-C meter, so that lets you know, okay, things are good. What state are you located? Queensland, northeast of Australia. And I'm fairly high. I'm 2/3 of the way up in Queensland. Will 0% batteries eventually die completely? I mean, ultimately they will if you don't charge them. It'll just take a lot longer. But if it's a genuine battery and it has a proper battery management system in it, then when they perform the disconnect, say, they'll probably do it around about 3 volt per cell, I'd say. It depends on how they've programmed it. But say they cut it at 3 volt a cell, or maybe call it 2.8 volts a cell. You can usually get down to about 2.7, maybe 2.65 volt a cell and still gradually bring it back. Once you sort of get below 2.6, then you really shouldn't do anything with them. It's too far. But the time it takes to go from, say, a 3 volt cutoff, which is sort of like the end of any sort of useful power. In fact, 3.3 is more like the end of useful power out of a lithium. The time it takes to just self-discharge from there to the critical point is a very long time. My meter display is out of focus. What? My meter display. Are you talking about the USB-C meter? Like, you talking about that? Or are you talking about the multimeter? Which tool do I prefer for voltage injection? I just use I've got a programmable power supply and that's it. And I only set it to like 1 volt, 1 amp in most cases, and that's it. I don't use a fancy tool. I certainly do not use a short destroyer, my goodness. If you use short destroyers on these boards, you just deserve to not be in business, quite frankly. Yes, they sometimes can produce useful results. Most times they will create more faults than what they've just fixed. Where did I buy? I get my gear. Most of my equipment was from Element 14 before they decided to just sell out all the Australian warehouse. So now they're just a faceplate now for international shipment. So they used to have a really good warehouse in Australia and not anymore. What the hell is a short destroyer? Basically, the concept of a short destroyer is it will send a large amount of energy for a very short period of time into a circuit to try and burn out whatever it is that is shorted. What I was saying, there's a chap called Harold who from CMI Zappa. Nothing to do with short killers or anything like that. And he is buying a license to produce the USB-C boards and the ring lights if he wants to. Brad, that takes too long. It takes too long to use a high precision low ohms meter with 4 Kelvin leads. Hell, most people do not have 4 Kelvin leads. And that's not surprising because most of the ones that you get out there are complete shite. They're really bad. Like most of the ones that you see, they look like clothes pegs. They're terrible. What we really do need if we're going to go hunting shorts by chasing down the lower and lower resistance are some very fine tip probe 4 type leads. I don't think you're going to find them too easily. But yeah, short killers are not a good idea on this kind of equipment. Maybe if you've got some, I don't know. You know what, I don't even want to suggest anything. Okay, so we've got charging going on here. It's looking pretty good. Boot's fine. Wonder if they've just got a bad charger. A short killer is kind of like using a really long bar on a seized nut in an engine bay of a car. And what's going to happen is you're going to use that really long bar, and then when the short finally does clear through, you overshoot very quickly, and you end up busting your knuckles and breaking something else in the engine bay. It's kind of like how a short killer is going to work. Alright, so this is working fine at 3%. Let's try the other port. There's nothing wrong. Oh, this is not good. Okay, there's got to have been something that made this come in, so I might have to take the board out and have a look. Those ports look pretty damn good. Yeah, creature, that's not enough precision. You've still got the resistance of the probe itself till you get to the wire. It's not good enough, mate. I'm disappointed you even suggested that. I would have expected more from you. From you, creature, I would expect nothing less than a folded ultra-low resistance, high tensile pin at the tip with two wires coming off at a very short distance from that fold point. Anything less than that, I don't know. I think you must be getting soft in your old age there, buddy. I mean, that's at least 2 or 3 micro ohms of common mode sort of, yeah, not able to separate that. I mean, I do still have the low ohms meter that I designed and made many years ago. I just don't ever use it. Alright, so this is working just jolly good and fine. So what to think about this? I mean, yeah, it was very low power. So did they have a bad charger? But then why was it also still bad when they had it tested? I'm going to be a little bit cranky if I pull this apart and everything's just fine. I'm going to definitely be cranky. The only possibility we have here at this point is that the shipping shakedown has caused some corrosion to break free. That's about it. That's as far as I can think. But yeah, this is in very good condition, this is. Which makes me exceedingly disinclined to actually disassemble it. Yeah, there's some seals here that I've got to break. And I don't want to, but I'm going to have to. From the Western Australia. Oh my god. That's the other country. There is a fingerprint or two on here. They're not mine, obviously, because I've got gloves. You can still leave fingerprint impressions even when you have got gloves on. Like if there's a little bit of flux or any sort of residue on the glove, then when you touch, it will still leave a fingerprint residue. A mark. But obviously it's not quite the same as when it's the human oils. I have had some jobs where people have touched the boards with bare hands, and I don't know what they're secreting, but their fingerprints cause serious corrosion on parts. For me, wearing gloves is pretty much equally as much about me not leaving human oil on the machine and also me not absorbing whatever the hell is in the machine. A lima green, or is it lima green? See, don't like ruining those seals, but got to do it. It's going to be very annoying if there's nothing wrong. And in the case of there being nothing wrong, the bench fee still applies in this case. Because I am having to take it apart and inspect. Oh, Mo! What is it, buddy? Ach, nee, man. Where are you? Are you on the outside or are you on the air conditioner? I think you're on the outside. Buddy! No! What?
Something funny just happened.
Oh, funny, okay. Mo! No, you can't go in. Here. Eat your emotions. There you go. Why don't you eat your emotions? That's what we all do. Mo. He was on the outside of the workshop door, so obviously he can't come in. There's far too many things in here that could cause serious health issues. Either physically or chemically. Getting there. Good. And of course this one here requires a little bit of heat, otherwise you're going to tear it. I mean, okay, maybe you won't tear it, but I don't want to take that chance. Okay, I got something holding me down over here, I'm not sure what. Oh, okay, it was just some notched flexes, I think. No. Ah, there we go. Right. Wow, barely any dust at all in that. the lack of dust, I'm going to be very surprised if I see anything on this board. Well, let's go through it, see if we can see anything. I'm sooner going to go for the theory that they actually had a dirty USB-C cable or something. Although it is strange that it was oscillating. Normally when you get a bad cable, it just sort of tends to not work. Or maybe they had a bad brick, I don't know. But I'm finding it difficult to lay the blame at the feet of this machine at this point. Yeah, this is an immaculate looking board. I mean, we only need to have one bad spot. That's all we'll need, but really don't see that coming up. Okay, we nearly dislodged that. I'll fix that up. Okay, it's back in normal. If there is an issue with this machine, I would say it's probably going to be a peripheral issue. Like, you know, maybe something wrong with the trackpad or the keyboard, or maybe the battery itself. Maybe the data flex for the battery was slightly working its way out. Let's have a look at that. Sometimes that can happen. It's pretty unusual, but it can happen. So like this here is the data flex. And the fact that it's still got the adhesive connected there sort of doesn't really lend itself to being... That's locked in pretty good. You can't blame that. What the... Sorry, we just had an invasion then. And that's perfectly clean. I don't know what to think about this one. Yeah, so I don't know whose time's been wasted here or what. It's a little bit frustrating because that's 2 machines now. And the worst thing is that they get stacked in my shelf in a disassembled state. Because it's like, well, I've got to wait to hear back and find out what's going on. So I'm not liking that. Alright, we'll give one more a shot, and let's hope this one doesn't stack in as well. I'm down to my last 2 containers. I've got a 1707, so that's 99% likely it's got corrosion up the berkelium side. Yeah, unresolved jobs, and I have got, you probably can't really see it, but all along there across the whole bench is just unresolved jobs. Just seems to be the week for it. Yeah, 1707s and 1706s almost always right up the left-hand side of the wing on the board. They're just going to be full of corrosion. So we'll have a look at this one, see what the state of that corrosion is. beyond a certain point, it's like, nah, forget it. Just stick it onto if they want the data, stick it onto the life raft connector, get the data off, and unfortunately the machine just isn't worth keeping. I wish it wasn't that way, but it just is that way. Okay, we've got a freaking hidden... I hate these. Where are you? There. The other trouble with the unresolved jobs, because there's always more time involved as well, like not just with trying to fix them, but also because you've got to do a lot of back and forth with the customer. Whereas if you just, holy crap, that's the wrong screw there by a big margin. Anyway, whereas if it's either a distinctly no fix job or a distinctly fixed job, then it's done. But unresolved, you can easily add an hour on top of work trying to work out what the hell to do. Okay, I don't actually have any information on what is faulty. Yeah, if you're working on these machines, any of these new MacBooks, and if you got tweezers in your hands, don't go near the speakers. This is what happens when you have tweezers in your hand and you go near speakers. These speakers have very strong magnets and they will draw your tweezers in, or even screwdrivers. And you will ruin the customer's speaker, and you cannot really get replacements for those too easily that sound the same. You can get third-party ones, but they are shite. So, yeah, keep your DBDACers away from the speaker weakers. Talking gibberish now. Breaking up audio? Seriously? Really? Or is it just you? I've got no reason to expect that my audio should be breaking up at this point. If someone else can confirm, then I will consider it. But at this point, I've got no indication that that is happening. I remember just mentioning bad audio to Louis Rossman Jr.'s streams would drive him mad. He'd go crazy trying to find the fault. It just wasn't worth it. Now this one doesn't look too bad, but I think it's a little bit of a lie potentially, because this had a replacement battery installed, which means that when the battery was installed, they most likely flushed all the dust out. However, what didn't lie to me is that little bracket that I just took off. Let's bring it back up. You're probably not going to be able to see this, but on the edge here there is some corrosion, which is very typical. And now we've got chewed out heads. Fantastic. I do love chewed out heads. It makes repair so much more exciting. Honestly, I think if I was hiring staff, one of the first tests I would give them is to disassemble a machine, say maybe like a 2141 or whatever, and put it back together, and then see how many screws are in the wrong place, how many things aren't done right, stuff like that. Because a machine like a 2141, it does have certain peculiarities, and there are a few screws that you think you can just swap around willy-nilly, but you cannot. Agreeably, that doesn't give me any idea as to whether they're a good technician in terms of diagnostic capabilities or their soldering capabilities, but it will give me an idea of whether they're able to um, be consistent and clean, and at least I can work from that. Yeah, Brads, I mean, yeah. At this point, I would say I am not taking on staff, and probably likely never will. It's something that Lewis Rossman didn't understand with my business at the time when he had many staff. And I said to him, I asked him direct, and I said, do you feel like the fact that I don't take on staff is me hiding from greater success or something like that? I can't remember exactly how I worded it to him. Basically me avoiding being more successful. And he thought, I believe at the time his response, at least if he understood what I was saying, he said yes. He said, yeah, you're kind of like avoiding what you could become. But the reality is that, as Brad's just mentioned, taking on staff, particularly in an industry like this, is such a profoundly risky proposition, particularly when, I mean, yeah, you could get bigger and bigger, but ultimately you end up getting back to the point where it's just you. You go through your boom phase, your successful heydays, and then ultimately at the end you end up back just at you. And you're probably no better off, richer or whatever, than if you'd just been by yourself the whole time. If I was to take on assistance, it would probably be strictly under a contract type situation. Now I know that's frowned upon by a lot of governments and stuff like that, subcontracting your staff, but there's very good reason for doing that. It's my OCD. I don't think I have OCD much. I just like things to be right when it comes to this sort of work. I would hate being a boss, yes. I would tend to fall into the situation where I was micromanaging far too much. The only time which I found it comfortable of being a boss as such was when I was working in a much larger corporation. I wasn't the owner or anything like that. And then I had staff to delegate to for certain jobs, like sending them out into the field to fix up things. That wasn't too much of a problem. That was fine. I could deal with that because it wasn't that the liability landed on me directly per se or anything. It was just a case of, okay, we need more people so we can get out there and get more of this work done. That was fine. But in this situation, no, I wouldn't like to do it. At the end of the day, you got to decide what's right for you, and I think that's the most important thing. Let people decide what's right for them, and let them be. Instead, you get all these people to decide, no, the only right way is to do it this way. And that leads to pushing people into situations of which they're not actually prepared to be in, which subsequently then leads to them doing an awful job, dropping the ball, being overwhelmed, or just sucking at it when they were perfectly good where they were. Yeah, Martin, that makes a lot more sense for that kind of work. I agree. So you got to know the right reasons for taking on staff. And there we go. As I said, left-hand side of the 1707s are forever getting liquid damage corrosion. And there it is. Nothing ever changes for this. So you got your berkelium chip here, and it just gets absolutely beaten to death by this corrosion. And then you got, yeah, it's a freaking disaster. I'm trying to get a decent focus here, and I'm having a hard time with my eyeballs. And it's all the way up to the temperature sensor chip. This is probably one of the better ones, I will say. you can actually see this still thing's okay. So in this instance, I will repair this one. This is a very low grade corrosion relative to what it can be. And we do have to deal with the bits of corrosion up here because this here is a voltage regulator, and these are all your feedback sensing resistors and such. So if that goes wrong, then bang, things go wrong there. But yeah, it's just a signature style of failure for the 1707 and the 1706s. Yeah, look at all that. Look at that. Fortunately, that side, because it has the shield on it, it doesn't tend to... Yeah, just the shield stops it. So they really could have done with the shield on the other side too. Would have saved a lot of drama. Yeah, once you brush it off, it's not too bad. It's scary initially. Yeah, we're using the old foobar term. That's a good term. Okay, from what I remember, all of those resistors, the corroded ones and the two above it, they're all 0 ohm from what I recall. Let's see. Oh, come on now. Just building my board view again. You're probably like, why does he have to build the board view every time he uses it? It's because every day I've been doing more work on it, and I like to make sure that I'm using the very latest in my development tree when I'm doing this kind of work. Because after all, I need to be able to test it, so testing it... Ach, nee man. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about what could be under that BGA. Most of the time, it's okay. Like, it doesn't look like it's bad enough that it's crept under the BGA. But, yeah, there can be times when it goes all to hell. This cap here is a very frequent failure point. And at that point, usually you do have to replace this BGA. Fortunately, just looking at the surface of this BGA as I'm rocking it back and forth, there's no blemishes or anything like that, so I'm pretty happy with that one. Okay, this is a 00923, I think. Open. Or is it 928? Can never remember. I think 928 actually. So too far. Where are you, Berkeley? Okay, here we go. Yeah, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yep, they're all zeros. Sutterbridge, I am not reballing this one. No, not going to happen. I'm making a judgment call, and I'm not reballing that one. Hey, Brad's throwing money at me today. 1111 having you send 10,000 subs party weekend. Oh, wow. Cool. 10,000. I remember getting my first 10. Took longer than probably everybody else. I'm really slow. Really slow. Let's see. What can we do for Brad's here? Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. We're going to fix this up for Brad here. Alright, Brad. Put your channel name up. While I'm gone, I'm just going to go do Micro's insulin shot. Okay? So give me a few moments. torch. Hey Gavin Brown. Yep, busy as ever doing injections. Alright, let's get started on this. I don't want to spend too much longer around here. Got a life to live. I don't want to spend it fixing MacBooks. Just repositioning the board, make my life a little bit easier. I'm just going to put a protection panel over that sticker. I don't want to melt what I don't have to melt. Hey Brad, it's all cool. Been around long enough. Besides, you paid your fee. Oh yeah, let's get busy. I'm gonna take that cap as well while I'm at it. There we go. Hey there, Jim. Did I say hello before? Can't remember. So as you can see, definitely the corrosion had well and truly taken hold here. Oh wow, that is a terrible tip. Let's see if I can fix that up. Not really. Nope, we need a new tip. I mean, I can file that sucker down and rebuild it, but I'm not really good at that. At least I'm not sitting here trying to keep obsidian blades sharp. I mean, that's... To be fair, obsidian blades are sharp no matter how much they break. But what I mean is keep an obsidian blade actually with a useful tip on it. Electro rep. Okay, so we need to work out what's going on here. So it does look a bit like one of these is going to be bringing in power, or it's a sort of a bit of a bridge, but I'd say one of these takes a veer somewhere off to somewhere else, and we've barely got a connection there, so we're going to have to just make a manual bridge. It could be this one here is in fact the veer. So what is that? That's on 3rd and 4th. So it's these two here. So yeah, PMU, okay, so it's one of the clock signal, data signals for I2C. Right, so we'll just have to bridge them. What are you guys doing there? It's the ugly hack. Fantastic. Nice to know it's an ugly hack. Regarding the tip choices of blades, I think a lot comes down to what you're used to, or what you grew up using. Like for me, with model aircraft and things like that, then the the number 11 blades, these sort of number 11s, as opposed to the surgical number 11s, which are different. They're kind of more my thing. Yep, that's an official Apple annotation. I did not put that in there. You will find in a lot of the schematics the words things like, you know, ugly hack, or I don't know if I've seen the word bodge, but certainly ugly hack is entirely normal. You'll see things like remove for production and stuff like that. And then someone forgets to remove for production. I guess at the end of the day, a lot of the techs are just like us. Yeah, they're not robots. Alright, looking at that, you can probably tell that the lower pad, the one that is actually missing quite a bit, is actually the veer. I gotta sneeze, sorry. Yeah, so the bottom one is actually the veer, so we're going to have to make sure we get that right. This is going to be fun. Yeah, we're going to be relying very heavily on the bottom plate of the 0 ohm resistor to spread itself across properly. We'll know pretty quickly if it's good or not. Okay, so we want 201s. We want a whole lot of 0 ohmers. One ohm, no good. 0 ohm is required. 100 ohm, no good. 0 ohm is required. 10k, my goodness, this... Come on, where are my zeros? Oh wow, I don't have many of them left. I know a lot of people would say, hey, you could just blob it. Stick a nice... what do you call it, calibrated blob solder across it, but we don't do that kind of thing here. think we'll do 2 at a time. And that bottom one is a capacitor, so we're going to have to work out what value that is and we'll stick it in later. We're going to have to switch over to the fickle, annoying little tweezers, these little things. These are more iPhone tweezers. Come on. You guys can do it. Yeah. It's good. It's a good start. Now we need 2 more. Right. Probably should have put flux down first, but it is what it is. Mr. Bodger? I was just yelling at Joey before for sticking around here when he's got other things to be doing. He's got to get prepped for his stream tonight. He's actually got to come up with something interesting. Ach, nee, man. Okay, 4 zeros down. Now we've got to work out, we've got to find that cap. It's probably not going to be significant, but we still need to know what it is. Schematics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's this cap here. And it actually is an important cap. Yeah. So that is 100 nanofarad, 16 volt, 201. The reason why I can tell it's an important cap is because you can see that it's connected into the chip and then to ground. It's the only 2 places it goes, according to the schematic at this point. There are some horrible little tricks occasionally that occur where you'll find this rail here appears elsewhere in the schematic and it gives you the illusion, it tells you sort of thing that, well, actually there was another area that used it, but not in this case. Anyway, the point is this cap belongs entirely to this chip, so therefore it must be there for either some sort of special decoupling, some timing, or whatever. It has an important purpose. It's not just a generalized rail decoupler cap. You're gonna have to replace this one. So 100 nanofarad, 16 volt. Fortunately, we have plenty of 100 nanofarad 16 volts. Some chips will have their own internal voltage regulator, some low dropout voltage regulators like the CE3215s and things like that have them. And if you do not have that cap out there, then things will definitely not work. So if you read the schematic will generally tell you whether you can get away with or without that cap. Ah. I think we've got a bit of a problem here. That little nub you can see there, that is the via, and you can see this resistor is not sitting on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and blob up the solder to bridge between the nub and the face of this resistor there. I'm going to try. May or may not succeed. One thing we can do to test is we will check the diode mode on the top of that resistor now, see what it is, and we'll compare it after we've bridged it. In fact, we just test this side because it is a 0 ohm resistor. And I got that backwards. I had red probe on the unit itself. So 0.48. We'll see what happens when we drop. This is definitely when the micro pencils are very handy. Not good. That's okay. That is most certainly not a panic situation. So I've got myself a fair chunk of solder there now. So what I'll do is I'll just hot air it and put a pair of tweezers between it, and they should separate their own way. Hey Godfrey Allen, hey, it's actually been a while. Yeah, Creature, you're always the voice of annoyance, aren't you? I can always rely on Creature to be completely right and completely annoying at the same time. Alright, that's still not connected between those two, I don't believe. Not sufficiently anyway. Trying to decide whether I can really do blob across that or whether I'm going to have to string a fine piece of wire. I think I'm going to go for a fine piece of wire. It wasn't good enough for me, Creature. It wasn't good enough. You're not the one sitting here doing the work. I know, you'd be like, I'll do it for you for free. Come to think of it, I'm kind of curious where that pad goes. Yeah, where that... what? Okay, here's a brain fart. Given that these are both 0, technically I could just go bridge there to there, but I don't know, and as far as I can tell, there is nothing actually going anywhere on this side. According to the board view and the schematic, it looks like there's just a link between those two and that's it. SDA, BR, SDA. Alright, I'm going to pretend that that simple option doesn't exist for the moment, because I'm worried that the possibility is that the schematic isn't telling me the full truth, or the board view isn't telling me the full truth. And so it could be luring me into this illusion that all I have to do is bridge the other halves. And I do that only to find that I was wrong. Somebody doesn't have a clean piece of wire. That's not good, it shouldn't have lifted like that. Okay, my wire has oxidized. That's not good. Could be a medical issue. Maybe they had too many 0 ohms. It was quite possible. You can see why I'm not the greatest of fan of doing these 1706s, 1707s because of this sort of thing. Hey there, Charles Mott. Get ready to get some sleep. I don't know why that's moving around. That's kind of scary that that is moving as much as it is. Like on this side, that I wouldn't expect to be moving as violently as it has been there. It worries me because it makes me wonder whether that pad on this side has actually detached from its stalk. Okay, I'm going to hit it with some hot air and see if it will settle into a reasonable kind of reflow state. Because it's not properly reflowed yet. Well, at least they're connected. I probably should change back over to the KN tip on this. Hey, sweetie. Sorry? Yeah, sure, put wings on.
Because I'll take that almost an hour.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't be that long. God help me if I am. Come and take me out. Alright, I'm actually happy with that now that I've just heated it up a bit. Alright, well that was one minor aspect that we fixed up. We have to clean up this whole temperature sensor area now. Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to end up melting that sticker no matter what I do in life. Oh well. This temperature sensor is very frequently hit with corrosion, and what will happen is you think the machine's running okay, but then it starts running the fan at high speed and not booting at proper speed. Yeah, it just starts slowing the whole system down. Okay, where's forget which way? Okay, yep, top there. Yep, that cap's got to come with us. Yep, and that first resistor there, and shit. All right. We did a shonky job, folks. We've done a shonky job, so we've got some bit of extra work to do. It happens. Every now and then you don't hold that steady hand, and this is the result of your crappy hand holding of your things. Damn it. That's annoying. That's real annoying. There, I'll go get the temperature sensor, at least to get started with that. Let's see. TMP 461s. Yeah, I was trying to grab that resistor just so that I could get it out of the way, because it needed replacing anyway. I suppose the smart thing actually would be to replace that cap first. Ah, boy. These things happen. It's normal. I'm telling you it's normal because I don't want you to think that I'm no good at this. So we just drop some leaded down, make our life a little easier on the return. I'm going to find out what that cap is. Now in this case it's a 100 nanofarad, 6.3 volts, but it's just a decoupling one, but I'm still sticking it on. Hey JCT, welcome. I don't have 6.3 volt, I've got 10 volt, and that's going to be just fine. There's going to be no trouble using 10 volt in this particular case. It'll have a slightly lower ESR, but really for this situation it's a non-issue. And we'll put our temperature sensor back on too. Nice when things just jump back into place because of the surface tension. Okay, so this chip is not yet fully set down, nor is that, but that's okay because I've still got to add all these parts. So I'm just going to tack them in. When everything's in place, then I'll sort of worry about making sure everything's reflowing properly. Okay, so what do we need? Got 10K. 27 foot. Oh god, I hate this. Oh, now I know why I hate this section. Yep, it's like, hi, we're a really weird value. Let's be different. And 11K. 11K is not so bad, but 27.4, that's just weird. Yep, 27.4. Let's see. Hopefully I've got a 928 with one of those still on it. If I don't, then I will of course break out the old part find facility. 741, not you. Not you! Let's see. Daniel Lang's contribution, one of the first contributors. This person sent me a board many years ago now. And as you can see, I've stripped it pretty clean. Shite. I'm going to guess that all of them are pretty much stripped. Oh, there we go. This one's got them. Has it? Yes. The question is, do I trust it? The answer is no. I don't trust it because I've reworked it, so I don't know if I've made a mistake in the rework and that resistor is not valid. So I'm going to have to do a search for it. Okay. Search. Find a part. What was it? Damn it. 27.4. Okay, search, find 27.4K. I probably, oh, well, looks like they're everywhere anyway. I think we can stop searching. Actually, what size was it? You're 201, aren't you? Yep, 27.4, 201. Search, find. Brad, you're just jealous you don't have schematics. There's a lot of boards to choose from. I'm just trying to hope that a 165 shows up. Why have I got iPhones in on that? Oh my goodness. There we go, stop. We got our 165. You better be... Oh cool, you buy the SMC. Cool. Okay. That makes life easy. Let's see. 165. It'd be funny if this one has the resistor removed. Okay, so according to my understanding, it should be this one right here. Yep. Got the wrong tweezers, Mr. Daniels. The reason why those other ultrafine ones were the wrong tweezers is because when you pick things up with those ultrafine ones, the tips bend, and they bend enough that as you try to move from one board to another, it can be very easy to drop them. Okay. So, let's see, the 27.4 is the second one here. 10K is that other one. That'll do for that. 10K 201 is what we want next. So you can see here very clearly why doing these particular boards is something I really do not like doing. Just the sheer amount of time that is taken up dealing with this liquid damage. Well, it's not actually liquid damage, it's just environmental corrosion, high humidity environments. Okay, that's good enough for that. And we have an 11K that we need to find now. Normally I do have 11s, but for some reason I don't think I have it in my 201, so I may have to do another part find. I'm going to say I need to part find it, but I'll sort of cheat and assume a 165 might have it. So we'll just do a search in the PDF. Oh, great, great. The 1 ton 111K, it's not in the 165. Bravo, Mr. Daniels, bravo. Alright, part search time it is. Search, find. Ryan Labs, yeah, often it is just easy to do a full wipe and rebuild. I agree. So far we've got a 239, 2098, 3330. Well, it looks like 11K is actually surprisingly not so common. Hey there, Uber Micro Repairs. Good evening, welcome along. We're just trying to fix up a atmospherically high, what do you call it? High humidity environment damage board. 00138, that's a 1398 machine, I think. Oh, 4924. Oh, saved the best for last. Excellent. Good. 4924. Definitely have plenty of 4924s. For people who aren't aware what the 4924 is, it is the MacBook A1502 Retina 2015 edition. And most of us have plenty of those. What's this crash shit? Ignore. Zoom. Thank you. Excellent. So that is up by the screen filters. Okay, so there's the screen filters. It's going to be in here. And as far as I can tell, it should be this sucker there. The cyclone's a long way from me now. Long way. Considering we had a couple of weeks of rain non-stop and flooding, I'm pretty happy that it kind of decided to go elsewhere this time. Normally we're pretty good for handling cyclones, yeah, we're pretty accustomed to it. Not to say that we're blasé about it, but yeah, our buildings are meant for it and all that sort of stuff, whereas you'll find that if Brisbane gets hit, there's going to be a lot of buildings that are not cyclone capable down there. So it could be a bit more chaotic for them. It's taken a long time for the heat to come out of that board then. Alright, wonky bits, that's all good. Everything's looking a bit iffy. Alright, we've got to replace that one. Definitely. Theoretically, you could just rip that off with the pliers, but I'm not going to do that. Not today. Hey Mark Anning, how's it going down there? You guys are getting our usual weather down there now with the cyclone. But it's a couple of days away, isn't it? Like, you're not expected to get till the 6th. Thursday, Friday, yeah, okay. Hey Slime, just saw you there. Okay, so we just swapped this part, or we're replacing this part rather. And it's a general decoupling, 1 microfarad, 10 volts, 402. Cool. We'll just prep it so that it's ready to take a new part. Yeah, she's being a bit shouldn't say that. It's being a little bit reluctant to take the solder, so we'll just shave off a little bit of that oxidation. Now it might behave. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Right, 1 microfarad, 10 volts. It's a 402. I've got all the 201s down here. We want a 402. Okay. Oh, what? 1 microfarad, 35. Come on, where's the 10? Aha. We've got oodles upon oodles of these ones. Toilet paper, water, and chocolate. Pet food. Oh, you gotta have your pet food. Can't let the animals suffer. What a rotten mess. Yucky yuck. Yucky yuck. Okay, what I'm going to do along here is I'm going to run the soldering tip across it with some flux, and that will let me know if anything is actually, partially broken or anything like that. So you just sort of get your soldering iron tip, wait for it to heat up, wait for it to heat, thank you, and you sort of do this. And they all stayed, thankfully. I know these ones ran a bit low. That's wiggled a bit because I've already got leaded solder on them. But yeah, this is pretty hideous stuff. Again, like I said, I'm really not a fan of doing this one. So we give it a whirl, see if it gives us 20 volts or not. Okay. That just, my screen's stuttering. OBS is starting to drop frames. I don't know what's wrong with this release of OBS, but it's not as good as it could be. It's scratchy nose too. Alright, let's see how we go. We got 20 volts. 20 volts. Yeah, we've got some proper current then too. Alright, let's give this a clean up. Hopefully we can just shove it back in the board. It's not pretty, and I'm not putting it through the ultrasonic. So, get the cavity excavator. I'm just going to use pure IPA on this. There's no point. So all we're trying to do here is just get rid of all the excess flux. Give it a bit of a pat down before we give it a bit of a joey rub. The joey rub works well in getting rid of all the blotchiness. Okay. What did I miss? Hey Pro Engineer, just saw you there sneaking in on the side. You see, it doesn't really make it very pretty at all. In many ways it looks uglier because of the liquid all through it, which is fine, it's to be expected. Maybe I'll toothbrush it. There we go. Moments of regret in life. Okay, we'll follow up some proper full 100%. Okay. Caught the tube. Okay. Let's get some joey rubbing going on. Oops. Picking up residual crap there. Could be a lot worse. I think it's tolerable. Reinspect those voltage regulator bits at the end there. Yeah, I could definitely have done better, but I think it's a case of how about not messing it up. Probably should UV cure that though. Okay. It's a little bit thick. I don't really need to do it anywhere else. It was more there because we had the exposure and that poor old veer broken off. There's a few cameras out, a few phones out there with infrared cameras already, like long wave infrared, not short wave. Short wave everything has anyway, which is why we have IR filters on most cameras. Long wave, on the other hand, is a lot trickier because essentially you just simply detecting it with a bunch of a bunch of thermopiles. Almost there. Almost there. 2, 1, 0, go. Okay. That blob was probably a little bit too thick, so it may actually be a smidge liquid under there, but I didn't want to mess around with it anymore. Alright, let's get this thing back into the assembly and see if we've had a win or whether we've just wasted an hour and a half of my life and yours. Let's see. So annoying, that one there. Like, it always wants to hide. It's like, no, I'm not here. Just put the board down. It'll be good. And I just realised I have left flux up there. Damn it. Or something resembling flux. You can see it's a bit dirty. I'm going to do some more jerry rubbing. Just goes to show that just because you're new or newish to the industry does not mean that you won't discover or create something that other people may find very useful. I mean, it's not a guarantee you will, but it's also not a guarantee you won't. He already knows about it, Bodger. He already knows I do his rub. He was all very excited about it the other night when I told him. The nice thing is, if this works, I get to go and have happy chicken wings with peri peri sauce. Very nice. Okay. That's good enough for us to test, I think. $20. Ooh, just hit a very high current then, and then, okay, here it comes. Okay, we're doing good, doing good. The screen is active. It's restoring from sleep. So I had to sort of like, no, there we go. So we're good. And it's charging by the looks of it, so crikey, the battery's falling out, mate. What is this, flappy battery? Alright. It happens. This is the trouble with a lot of the third-party batteries, is that the adhesive they put on the back, it's either not strong enough or it is strong enough but it's too thin, so it can't compensate for any sort of slight adjustments that you need, thickness issues. So you end up with these batteries that just like flap around like that, it's not a good thing. So really, ideally, what you want is you want to have on the back of these batteries around about a 1 mil or at least half mil thick two-sided foam tape, kind of like this kind of stuff. This is about half mil thick, I think, but it works wonders. So you stick it on the back of the battery, you put it in, and if it is that you don't actually have the full room for that thickness, it'll just press down fine. But otherwise, it will help it stay sitting down properly rather than just flapping around like that, because if it flaps around like that, you're going to start wearing on the corners, which may cause an actual problem with the pack catching a light or stuff like that. So yeah, you really want to make sure that it does not just flap, 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 because it might go far, far, far. Alright, well that's it for tonight. I'm done. It was a little bit of a dragged out one, so we had two not dead ones really. Okay, we had the one that had just a bad USB-C port on it. Fine. The other one I'm going to have to make some inquiries and sort of like, how did you test it? Is your other tester okay? Because there was just nothing. I couldn't find anything wrong with that other one. That was the, what was it, 2251 I think it was. But yeah, and this one was the classic 1707 corrosion down the left-hand side. Nothing. Yeah, whenever I see a 1707, it's like that's the first thing you're going to have to be looking for. Even if the fault is elsewhere, you're going to have that to clean up as well. So most of the time, take the data off, move on to another machine. Alright, I'm out of here. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one, whenever that may be. Until then, you all take care. Don't forget, I am on Discord as well, if you want to just sit around and have a chit-chat. We are going to have Joey Does Tech in about an hour or so, if you want a slightly different, slightly different rate of pace on repairs. Otherwise, see you when I see you. Until then, you all take care. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.